Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 79 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, one half of the Membership Guys, and this is the place for proven practical tips and advice for growing a successful membership website. Today's episode is the first of a two-parter to kick off the new year right. So last week's episode, I've been trying to kind of put you guys off starting up a membership site. It's crazy, I know, but hopefully you got that as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way of actually helping you figure out whether a membership site is right for you or not. So assuming you have either decided you're going to start your membership, or maybe you've already got your membership up and running and this just affirms that you're on the right path, now I want to give you some tips on how to actually attract new members and grow your membership site. So we're going over 11 tips for attracting new members, and in this first one, I'm going to look at the first 5 of those tips. Now, these are just random tips, random tactics that you can use to grow new members. It's not a definitive list. It's not a be-all and end-all. It's not even the sort of list where you have to do all these things we're talking about, or else your membership site will never be a success. These are just 11 things that maybe don't always get talked about, or don't always get talked about in the context of growing a membership site, that I've pulled out to give you some ideas, give you some inspiration, and hopefully encourage you to take action when it comes to marketing your membership and improving your membership sales. So the first of those tips is to make sure that you're leveraging success stories throughout all of your marketing activity. One of the great things about running a membership site is that you get to be a part of the journey of your members. You're not just selling a one-off product and then that's the end of it. You never actually get to see how the person who buys it goes on to use it. With a membership site, particularly where you have a community element to it, you get to be part of the journey of your members. You get to see how they're using the training materials, the courses, the downloads, the resources that you've created for them. You get to answer their questions. You get to see their progress and see the results that they experience, the challenges they have to overcome, and so on. And so you're in a unique position to actually really tap into and leverage the stories of the people who join your members. Now, it's one thing to say that you have a great product. It's another entirely to be able to actually prove it. So if you can make use of the social proof that you inherently have access to as a membership site owner, these stories that you get to be a part of, the real-time feedback that you're getting from your paying members, then you can utilize those as testimonials, quotes, case studies, and interviews that demonstrate that you don't just talk the talk, but you also walk the walk. And so this can add such an extra compelling element to all of your marketing activity, to your sales copy, your sales pages, your funnels, and so on. Now, this is something we do ourselves as part of promoting the Member Site Academy. And one of the ways we do this is through a blog series that we run called Behind the Membership, where we actually highlight and showcase a selection of members from within the Academy. We dive into why they started their membership, what the biggest highlights around the membership is for them, what challenges they have, how they've grown it, and so on. And this gives great social proof and also relatable stories that you can use to promote your own membership, and also is a great way of engaging your existing members, because everybody likes recognition. So not only do you get to utilize your members' stories as a way of promoting your own membership, but you also get to make them feel good about themselves because you're showcasing them and featuring them in a positive way. And of course, we also make use of testimonials, of quotes that we've had from past clients, from existing members, not just on our sales page, but also within our sales emails and within various different places across the marketing channels that we use for the Academy. Another way we use this is actually using examples that are taken from members and clients within courses that we create. So we're actually showing that the stuff we're talking about isn't just theory, it has practical applications as well. So all of this sort of stuff is something you're able to do as a byproduct of running a membership site. So that's our first tip. Make sure that you're leveraging success stories throughout the marketing of your membership. This can add such a great risk reversal element into your marketing and your sales strategies That can sometimes be enough to move someone from being on the fence about joining your membership to being convinced because they've actually seen that real people that they can associate with, that they can familiarize with, are getting a good use out of your membership, and therefore they feel they're going to be able to get good use from it as well. So that's tip number one. Make sure you're leveraging success stories and social proof in your marketing. Tip number two, make good use of webinars. Now, most membership sites that we talk about, most memberships that people in our community have, consist of two main elements. The first of those is content. The second is community. So it makes sense that if part or a major part of what you're selling is content, that you utilize content in order to sell it. Now, a lot of us do that through standard content marketing, blogs, podcasts, and so on. But a webinar gives you an opportunity to provide content of greater depth, richer content that almost bridges the gap between a standard blog post and the sort of content someone's going to get within your membership. So it whets their appetite a little bit, and it also enables you to capture a captive audience and better showcase, describe, and explain how your membership can be a solution to the problems that they have. Now, we talked a bit back in episode 58 when I had the chance to talk to Amy Porterfield about how to really leverage webinars when growing your membership. So definitely make sure you check that episode out if you haven't already. And of course, there's so many questions people have when it comes to webinars. Should you do them live or should they be automated? Do you need to have some sort of special offer that's time limited to really tap into scarcity? So lots of stuff we discuss in that episode with Amy Porterfield, but what I would say that even when keeping them simple, so for example, we run an automated webinar that we position just as a masterclass, as opposed to, you see some people who fake the whole live element and so on. We just position this as an online masterclass. There's no special offer. There's no act now within the next 2 hours to get this special deal and so on. We just tell people what the price is and we encourage them to sign up, and this converts at around about 10%. So definitely check out episode 58 with Amy Porterfield. You can find that at themembershipguys.com/episode 58, and look for ways in which you can incorporate webinars into your marketing activity. Tip number 3 is to make use of a free Facebook group. Free Facebook groups can be very effective for growing a membership. In fact, for us at the Membership Guys, our Facebook group is possibly one of the most important and most effective part of our whole marketing activity. We've got over 1,000 people over there at talkmemberships.com, which is our free Facebook community. And not only is it a great way of gathering our tribe, it's a great place for us to be able to share our content, to source ideas, and to actually see what sort of questions people are asking, what's important to people at different stages of their membership site journey. It's a great source of inspiration, and what happens is, if you're a member of our Facebook group, you'll find that we never pitch the academy. We very rarely even mention it ourselves, but what happens is that we've actually grown a lot of advocates who are members or have been members or have followed our group or our content for a long time, and they promote our membership for us. If somebody asks a question that one of our academy members knows is addressed in maybe a training session or a course within the academy, they'll recommend to the person asking the question in our free group that they actually join our membership site. And that's what happens when you have this sort of environment. You create this ecosystem within a free Facebook group. You will have crossover, and within that crossover, you will get advocates, you will get your fans. Now, I'm not a huge fan of using Facebook groups for paid membership sites, as in for the community element of a paid membership site, and that's something that I've jumped on my soapbox several times in the past to rant about, but certainly as a free community, a way of gathering your tribe, building your audience, getting them all into one place, and using it as a source of ideas, inspiration, and so on, could be really, really effective. And this is something I discussed in more detail with Jill Stanton from Screw the 9 to 5. Those guys have got about 15,000 plus people in their free Facebook group, and we talked about that back on episode 36 of the Membership Guys podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes for this episode over at themembershipguys.com/episode 79 for the link to that chat that I had with Jill about how to really make use of a free Facebook group as a way of promoting and marketing a membership. The fourth tip for attracting new members is sticking with Facebook to make use of Facebook remarketing. Now, Any of you guys who've been around the online business, online marketing space for a while, this will probably seem obvious to you by now. But if you're new to all of this, definitely invest some time looking into how Facebook remarketing can work for you if you're thinking of using Facebook ads. Remarketing allows you to be highly targeted in terms of who you're showing your ads to, and you can use it for things like checkout abandonment, where if somebody comes to your sales page and they are interested in your membership and they click through the checkout page but then they don't join, you can use Facebook remarketing to actually display ads to those people later on in the day to try and remind them to come back to your membership. You can use remarketing so that, for example, somebody who opts in for your lead magnet then will start to see ads on Facebook for your webinar, or maybe for a free 14-day trial to your membership. It's a great way of filling in the blanks rather than just blasting out adverts cold, trying to get people to go to your sales page. Using remarketing as a way to be more specific and more targeted in terms of the adverts that you're showing gives you a far greater chance of getting better results. So invest some time, if you haven't already, into learning about Facebook remarketing and how it could work for attracting new members to your site. Alright, so that's tip number 4 on how to attract new members. The 5th and final part for this episode is to consider splintering off elements of your membership site and selling them as standalone products. This is where you might take individual courses or perhaps bundle up some tutorials, downloads or resources into a package and then sell them on their own outside of the membership. This is something that opens up a variety of different options that you can use to actually lead people into your membership. So one thing you can do is, for example, if you're selling a standalone course, you could then offer to anybody who buys that course your membership as an add-on or an upsell, or maybe on your sales page for this Splinter course or the Splinter product, you give people the option of either buying this thing as standalone or alongside it, getting it as part of your membership. And this is something that even huge companies like Adobe do with their Creative Cloud subscription. What will typically happen is if you go to a sales page for Adobe Photoshop, for example, you will see an option to buy that piece of software on its own for a certain amount, or to get that software and all the other Adobe software within their subscription plan for another amount. So you're actually positioning the two products against each other in a way that makes the membership, that makes a subscription, seem like even greater value, and as such, a no-brainer. So you can use these Splinter products not as products that you hope to actually sell, but by packaging them, presenting them in a way that actually demonstrates just how great value your membership is. Because if you're going to charge someone $50 for one course and you have 100 courses in your membership that only cost $50 per month, then it's obvious which one is the better value, right? It's a no-brainer. And that can compel people in a very strong way to actually join the membership, because it really presents the value in a unique way that maybe people haven't thought of before. So that's one way you can use Splinter products. Another way is if you've had people on your email list who you put through your sales funnel, you have tried every single possible angle, every single marketing tactic, every type of email communication in the world, and they're still not biting. They still don't join your membership. Then you can actually use these kind of separated off, splintered products as an attempt to re-engage those people. Some people just don't like memberships, or they can't necessarily wrap their heads around being part of a paid membership site. Maybe they enjoy your content and perhaps they will buy from you, they just won't buy a membership right now. So if you splinter off a product and you offer them a standalone one-off course or bundle of resources, tools, templates, and so on, almost as a last-ditch effort to establish a buying relationship with them, then that can reignite their interest in what you've got to offer enough so that they can then be led into the membership as an upsell, or at a later point, perhaps they buy the standalone course and that makes them eager for more, or that gets them from point A to point B, and then they decide they're going to join your membership to get from point B to point C. So by splintering off different parts of your membership site and utilizing them in different ways, it does open up a wealth of different options for attracting new members. So that's it for this first part of the 2-part series on how to attract new members. As a recap, tip number 1, make sure you're leveraging success stories throughout all of the marketing that you do for your membership. Tip 2, find a way to make use of webinars. It makes sense that if a large part of what you're selling in your membership is rich, in-depth content, then you use rich, in-depth content such as a webinar in order to sell it. Tip number 3, find a way of using a free Facebook group to bring together your audience, to provide you with ideas, to observe the problems, questions, challenges that your audience actually have in order to enable you not only to better serve them, but also to refine your membership so that it's more targeted and more suitable to your audience. It's going to give you ideas for blog posts and content which you then share into your Facebook group. And you'll also find, just by bringing everybody together, that you'll develop advocates within that group who will promote your membership for you. Tip 4, sticking with Facebook, was to find ways of using remarketing as a way of getting highly targeted ads out there to people according to how they're interacting with you. And if you're looking for a place to start with that, definitely look at some sort of checkout abandonment retargeting campaign, because that just makes sense. If somebody's at that final step of wanting to buy from you, then if they don't, you should be showing them a retargeted remarketing ad through Facebook to try and nudge them back in your direction. And then finally, splinter off elements of your membership offering to create standalone products that you then can either use in order to strengthen the value proposition of your membership, or to try and reignite the interest of somebody who's maybe drifting away and has been on your email list for a long time and hasn't yet bought your membership. So hopefully you guys have found that useful. Remember, next week we're going to be rounding this off with another 6 tips on how to attract new members. So be sure to check back in at themembershipguys.com next week for the final part of this series. Until then, I want to thank you again for choosing to spend a little bit of time with me. Really appreciate your support, your downloads, all the reviews on iTunes and so on. And if you haven't left a review, 2017 is the year you need to leave that review. Only if it's going to be 5 stars, of course. Anything less, don't bother. Find something else to do with your time. Thanks again so much. That's it from me for this episode. I'll be back again next week with the conclusion of this 2-part series on how to attract new members. And remember to check in again next week for the next installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.